Hi, today we're here to talk about the hot topic of cloud services and AI, or cloud edge services to be more precise than AI. What it is, how it works, and how it's going to simplify your journey towards AI. Today I'm here joined with Stephen Costigan from Zadara, who are one of our key partners here at Example IT, to discuss and have a discussion around that particular project. Hi Steve.
Hi Kevin. Steve Costigan, Field CTO EMEA at Zadara. Excited to be here.
Cool. So let's start with talking about what is edge computing and AI and what does it really mean?
So I think edge computing is the delivery of computing in locations that are not central cloud defined models. So everybody's familiar with cloud from the hyperscalers, AWS, Azure, or Google. Edge is taking that compute capability and delivering that into remote data centers and delivering that to where the application needs to reside and operate more closely to the business's needs.
Okay, so obviously latency is quite key with all of this. So how does that affect the working of edge and AI?
So when you're looking at edge, it's really about those applications that could be high bandwidth, require low latency. Video is a good example of that, whereby you may be processing data, maybe in a manufacturing facility, and you're taking that video. You need to do something with that in real time. So latency becomes really critical, but also bandwidth, because doing that on a backhaul back to a central location may not be viable.
Cool. And how does Zadara really address those issues?
So really, from addressing it from a Zadara perspective, traditionally we came from a model attached to some of those hyperscalers. We have our own cloud infrastructure that is centralized and therefore part of that aggregation model. But then also via our service provider partners and enterprise customers, we're able to deliver exactly that same infrastructure on premises into a customer's location of choice. That could be a co-location facility, could be their own data center, or it could be attached into a facility that is a shared office, for example.
Okay, and where do you see and what do you think the main challenges are going to be with all of this?
So the challenges for a lot of organizations, I think, when we look at AI, people automatically think of things like ChatGPT. I think 2022, OpenAI coming to the market with a fantastic model that everybody's using, and I think everybody's looking at that and saying, that's what AI is about. But that's just one domain of AI, that's large language models. And if you then take that out to a different scenario, you're looking at a manufacturing company who's maybe they're a food manufacturer and they've got cameras across a production line. They may be looking at contamination, they may be looking at the whole conveyor line and how they can use that AI technology to take the video images, process those, and look for manufacturing defects. So that's one use case.
Cool. And from a Zadara point of view, how's that really going to help them in this challenge?
So I think if you look at trying to do that in a centralized model, if you are going to take camera feeds and let's say you've got even a small number, 13 camera feeds at high definition, you're going to need gigabits of bandwidth. Trying to pull that all the way back to a central location and process that in real time is almost impossible. So you've got to move the solution to where the problem is, because you can't move the problem to where the solution is. So it's addressing it in the opposite way.
Okay, and then this simplification of how you do that. I mean, how does that work with Zadara? What does it do?
So I think from Zadara's perspective, we're delivering a complete infrastructure as a service capability. We started offering storage services, then 5 years ago we acquired the assets of Stratascale. That gave us a complete IaaS infrastructure, AWS compatible APIs. So those that are familiar with working with Amazon's APIs can utilize ours. And then on top of that, using GPUs from NVIDIA, and then building on top of that with models, large language models. There are lots of open source ones that are out there, but they've typically been trained into a large scale data center, and they've got to then be adapted to work in an edge location.
Cool. So on that side of it, so industries like manufacturing and healthcare, where they've got some real critical live action AI going on, is that an area that Zadara can really help with?
Yeah, I think so. I think because we're able to deliver on premises in a pay-as-you-go model. It's basically taking the cloud to the customer. So you can define the model that you require, you can define the resources, you can scale them up, you can scale them back down dynamically. And really what that means is if you're manufacturing 8 hours a day, then you can utilize those GPUs for 8 hours a day, and then if you then want to utilize them for different workloads, you can dynamically shut those down, repurpose those for other things. We're seeing organizations who may be using GPUs for VDI type infrastructure during the day. They may want to do post-processing overnight, and repurposing those GPUs dynamically is a key aspect of doing that.
Cool. And with the enhancements of 5G and the Internet of Things coming along, is that something that Zadara is going to embrace?
Yeah, I think if you look at where these new technologies are bringing in, 5G is bringing high bandwidth, low latency right the way to the application edge. You see your mobile phone has got GPU processing capabilities, so people are taking lots of video footage. You look at high definition cameras, you look at IoT sensors on cars. All of this is driving lots and lots of bandwidth that needs to be processed at really low latencies. So being able to do that and aggregating that into edge locations that could be attached to a telco infrastructure. It could be the repurposing of an exchange, the old telephone exchanges, and bringing that backhaul only to a certain location, processing that, and then moving that on to a central cloud location. I think it was Gartner who said 80% of the data that we're generating never sees a data center. So imagine if you can actually take that data and make use of it and analyze that and do some real good with it.
So what really sets Zadara apart from the competition here? So why are you so much better?
I think we were the pioneers of storage as a service. We were the first organization to deliver that on premises. I think we've expanded that out with a complete IaaS infrastructure. I think we're further enhancing that by offering GPU capabilities, the ability to have those AWS compatible APIs for you to make use of standard libraries and frameworks, TensorFlow, PyTorch, and being able to then model that with something like Onyx, where you're going to take a transformer model, an Olama transformer model, you're going to ingest that, you're going to take that and remodel it and deliver a capability which is defined to that specific workload, so you can optimize. And I think our ability to scale up, scale down, and do that in an on-premises capability at the edge, I think that's what sets us apart.
Sure. And then for your vision, for the future, where do you see this all going?
I think from a vision perspective, we're all about those partnerships and driving that collaboration. Our service provider partners, our customers, our alliance partners are all a critical part of that ecosystem. And I think it's about application delivery. Nobody does anything in this world without a business need. Certainly no business does. So the technology is great, everybody's excited by it, but it's what can you do with it, and what can you do that's going to be powerfully good is, I think, the key part. So our alliances, with people like Tycoon from a Kubernetes perspective, NVIDIA, Veeam, Commvault from a backup perspective. We're building this ecosystem that allows somebody to say, I've got this problem in this area, can you help me get somewhere? And I think it's that partnership we have with our partners, like Example, that enable us to go and do some of those clever things for businesses.
Another quick topic about how Zadara's frameworks work in employing with AI and edge.
Yeah, I think the frameworks. A lot of the frameworks out there are open source. You've got PyTorch, you've got scikit-learn, you've got TensorFlow. The key really is they're trained in specific ways. So typically they'll be maybe running on an NVIDIA DGX system from a training perspective. But then when you're looking to push that out from an inferencing workload, they may not be optimized. So you'll use frameworks like Onyx, which will then take a framework from that could be TensorFlow and make that optimized for PyTorch or sklearn. So it's really about optimizing for the specific workload.
Another quick topic that we were talking about was where does edge fit with the hyperscalers in this environment?
I think it's more of a hybrid model. You look at where the hyperscalers have invested massively in very large infrastructure, able to run training models of multi-billion parameters. The inferencing of that comes down to the edge. You probably have to think in terms of how do you manage the data from the edge and utilize the models that are centrally done from the hyperscalers and transform that into something that's more usable. So I think it's very much a hybrid model of not one or the other, but everything combined.
Another topic that's coming up is it's not all about GPT. What do you think?
Yeah, I think you look at the models. I think OpenAI have done a great job with ChatGPT. Those large language models are great for people who are wanting to do things around desktop and application integration. But I think when you're looking at edge, it's an integration with that with other models. You may want to integrate the model without GPUs, for example, and utilize CPUs for certain inferencing workloads. The models that are being deployed out there vary so vastly in terms of use cases that it's not just around interacting with a chatbot. It's more around where it's going around agentic, taking a process and manipulating that process so that it's automating what's happening. So I think there's exciting times beyond just those ChatGPT type workloads.
So that also leads into data. Where's all this data going to be held?
I think that's the other challenge. Is if you're looking from an edge perspective, you're ingesting massive amounts of data, you're processing it there, and then you've got to manipulate that. Are you going to store that on block storage on SSD? Then going to transfer that onto object storage, and then maybe off even further into a deep archive, like Glacier or a tape type environment.
And of course, Zadara's got a solution to all of these answers.
Yes.
Even an answer to all these solutions.
Yes, I suppose we're quite unique in our composable storage architecture in that we can deliver block with SSD, with dedupe or not dedupe, again depending upon the workload. NAS services and object storage services, and dynamically scale and adjust those to meet an individual need.
Yeah, and then finally, how's Zadara going to stay ahead of the game with all of this? We know where you are and what you're doing, and there's really exciting stuff going on, but how are you going to stay there?
I think that's $1 million question for every organization. For us, we continue to innovate. We have some incredibly smart people. We have some great partners. We will continue to push. As I say, we've continually pushed and been those pioneers. We're always looking at what's next. What models, what dynamics, what businesses. Are they retail? Do we see things happening in retail whereby you could walk into a store and you've got an edge model that dresses you just by taking a camera photo and delivering that back for you. There's so many different ways that I think we can use AI, and as long as we're doing it for good purposes, I think it's an exciting future.
Thanks, Steve. I think that was an excellent insight into this exciting new topic around edge and AI. I think Zadara and our customers are going to really enjoy this journey that we're going to be taking them on with regards to how we can help them simplify their AI journey going forward. Thanks, Steve. Thanks for your insight into this exciting topic of edge computing and AI. I think this is going to be a wonderful journey for us and our customers to join you on this path of helping them with their AI services. If you need any more information or you want to get in touch, please do so via the normal websites or multimedia services, and we'll be happy to help and see where we can help you with any of your challenges or AI requirements for the future.